What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Wonder Woman game yet again, but I got something, I just kind of want to let it out. I just kind of want to walk through this puzzling question that I do believe we've asked before, but you know what? It's been bugging me roughly the last, week, and I thought, let's just make a video, let's talk, and let's see what you guys have to say as well. Maybe we've tackled this a few years ago because it probably all connects. Here's what I want to say, okay? I don't know why that Wonder Woman is taking so long. I really don't understand it. Now, how this all comes about is you look back at Monolith's track record, right? And you look back to Shadow of War, with being the second, Middle-earth game. September of 2017. Now, here's how it all connects, and here's why I do believe I have said this years ago, but, it's been many years. We have all these statements of live service and all this stuff from WB. Feel like it's a different atmosphere right now. So, okay, well, a few years ago when this thing was announced, I'm pretty sure I made a video talking about how I think this game is closer than you might think it is, right? The game gets announced, I think, in 2021. I mean, it's been so many years now, I honestly have forgotten, but it gets announced, and it had been several years since Shadow of War. So I thought, okay, well, naturally, it takes a long time to make a game, but it doesn't take 10 years, right? So, all right, well, if you announce it 3, 4, 5 years after your last game, chances are you probably are close. So right now we're sitting at the quarter, way through mark of 2024. Nothing. We're still waiting. As I've said before, I think the game could be shown this year. I really believe this could be the year. I think with Suicide Squad out, and yeah, you're going to have, updates to it, but I think now is the time to, if you got anything, paint a picture of the next few years for your DC games, kind of department, right? There's other things, but for DC, I think you got to come out and say, okay, here's a couple things that we're doing. So I do think this is the year, but I do get scared the longer it goes. And whenever I think about it through this line of thinking, I get pretty worried. It's been so long. At the time that this game comes out, even if it comes out next year, 7.5 years or so after the last game that they've made. Now, where is all this going? All right, so we had word, I think it was Jason Schreier potentially, for Suicide Squad, right? So Suicide Squad comes out. There was a lot of speculation, including from even myself, right, that maybe they were working on other games that got canceled along the way, because could they really have gone from Arkham Knight to this? And in a way, I still don't fully believe that, but that is actually the reporting. The reporting is after Arkham Knight, they went to some rendition of this, and they've been working on this for 9 years. Now, I think that's unbelievable, not in the sense that I don't necessarily believe it. It's unbelievable in the sense that that's a royal mess up. Now, when I think about that, and then I think about Wonder Woman, I do get pretty worried, because here's two things I want to say. Number one, it's somewhat in a similar position. It's been 7 years since their last game. By the time this game comes out, it could be 8. It could maybe even be 9. If Wonder Woman doesn't come out till 2026, that would be 9. That's the same thing as Arkham Knight to Suicide Squad, as Shadow of War to Wonder Woman, okay? Now, what I get scared about is, well, we hear about Rocksteady just doing that has been the path from the beginning in just a shocking way. And then I think, all right, games that take this long, there's really only a couple ways that it goes. And normally it doesn't work all that well. Actually, maybe 3 ways. If a game takes 7, 8, 9 years, either one, it gets canceled along the way and maybe it doesn't even see the light of day. But, on the way to release, I guess maybe this is part 2 to it, on the way to release, it might fall apart a few times. In fact, I think Skull and Bones is a great example of that one, right? Skull and Bones, I believe, was in the works for maybe 8 or 9 years, maybe even longer. No, you know what? Maybe 11 years, because I think they started it right after, the conception of it was after Black Flag. So let's just maybe round and say a decade, right? That game, rumor has it, was canceled roughly 2 to 3 times. So I guess my point is, you have the GTAs of the world. That would be the opposite. That would be the third way it goes, right? Game takes forever, and it's a genre-defining, game-defining type game. You know what I mean? It defines everything else. I don't think, like, I had confidence. I still kind of have confidence in Wonder Woman. I don't think it's that kind of game. I don't think, comparing it to GTA in terms of it's a different kind of game, but in terms of the boundaries that it'll push, I don't think it's even close. I don't think any game is close to GTA, okay? So that's kind of where I'm at. And that's what makes me worried, because if, let's say, and we don't know this, and this was the question I asked when they announced this game. Have they been working on this the entire time? And I am on the internet daily. I've been looking for this specific answer to this question because I've been asking the question for years at this point. And I'm sure we'll find out. In fact, actually, I would bet a lot of money that we would find out. As soon as the game gets closer and people start getting interviewed at Monolith, we are going to find out, I think, maybe not directly, maybe indirectly. I think we'll find out if they started immediately after Shadow of War, if they started making this, or maybe they were making something and it was canceled, right? Or maybe they were making this all along and it was also, massively reworked. Now, again, that's what would worry me, because as we went through the different scenarios that happens, games shouldn't take, 8, 9, 10 years. And I know games do take a long time. The average for bigger, blockbuster AAA games is roughly 4 to 6 years. For the first game like it might be 5 or 6, and then it might drop to like 4. We've seen that with like Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, like some of the, PlayStation games are good examples, right? So that tends to happen. Anywhere between that 4 to 6 year mark, right? But when you get to 7, when you get to 8, again, I fall back on the different kind of examples that we've seen. Either like Suicide Squad, why did it take so long? Well, I think because they were experimenting with this new type of game that they were not at all comfortable with, and not comfortable maybe like morally, comfortable like we don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of, I assume, like learning curves, when it came to making that game. So that's, I think. And also, I guess maybe Marvel's Avengers probably pushed it back because you had to do a lot of internal, thinking after that. The point is, it took so long because I think just a lot of things kind of went wrong. In similar but also different ways, things went wrong with Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones was around for, and you know what I mean? And these are the first games like on the top of my head, but a lot of games that try to do this also just don't ever come out. Sometimes if a game doesn't work after 2, 3 years, they just shut it down and, you know what I mean? They don't even let it get to 5, 6, 7 years. So that's my concern with Wonder Woman is, if they've been working on it since the beginning, I'd love to know why. I'd love to know why it's taken this long, because my gut, and again, like, not that I don't have, like, I want it to be good. I don't even know, like, confidence. I don't know if that's the right word, because I have started to lose it, considering they're talking about live service and all this stuff. I don't know. We're the ones who broke the news, on the Wonder Woman, the job posting, and then they had to come out to, like, declare that it's a single-player game, all that jazz. I don't know. Like, it could still have some sort of live service. I don't know what type of game it really is anymore. I know what they've said, but we need to see it. But I keep just circling back to, it's been so long. Why? Why has it been so long? Has it been so long because they were... And you know what? Here's the thing that actually would be completely fine. If they were working on a game after Shadow of War for 2, 3 years and they canceled it, and then they started working on Wonder Woman 2019, 2020, that makes complete sense. Everything would line up. And you know what? Like, yeah, I'm a curious individual. I'd love to know what that game that was, say, canceled was, right? Like, what ifs of the gaming industry. But, it's no big deal. Like, it happened, and it could have happened like 5, 6 years ago. It doesn't really matter anymore, right? That's fine. Like, just tell me that. And I guess why they haven't really even had an opportunity to do that yet, because nobody's like asked them. They haven't been put in the spotlight to talk yet. So hopefully, like I said, within the next year, if you show Wonder Woman, if you do like a press kind of circuit where you're going on the IGNs and they're hitting you with hard-hitting questions, right? One of those questions better be, have you been working on this game for 7.5 years, or were you working on something else? And you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say what the game is. You don't have to say anything that happened to it. Is, Wonder Woman, has that been the project since 2017? Yes or no? Like, that's all I want to know. And hopefully we get that, because then I guess what happens, like in my head, my approach to thinking about it would change, based off their answer. But I don't know, it's just a thing that constantly bugs me. I'm pretty sure we talked about when it was first announced, because it was just kind of odd that you show it, and I think it had been like 4 or so years since Shadow of War. So it's like, okay, this game could maybe come out like the following year, and then nope. You know, because like maybe did they just start it? But as we just learned with Rocksteady, no. You think about Suicide Squad. This is to end the video right here on this final like weird tidbit of information. You show Suicide Squad at DC Fandom along with Gotham Knights, right? You show that, and I think that was like August of 2020. So that means they had been working on that game for roughly 5 years. Roughly from when they showed that trailer of them on the rooftop and Superman coming in at the end. That was a 5-year, working period of the game. And then it took them almost 4 more years after that, maybe like 3.5, to get the game out. That's insane. To me, to think about that, that is unbelievable. So I don't know, did Wonder Woman do the exact same thing, or is it a slightly different situation? They've never answered those questions. You know what I mean? So let me know what you guys think to any of this. What's your kind of interpretation of this? Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.